All right, so today we're really diving into the heart of the Swadeshi movement in India, a time when, Indians were really fired up to take control back from British rule. And I know you were particularly interested in digging into this.
Absolutely.
So we are setting sail on a journey, I guess you could say, to uncover the story of the Swadeshi Steam Navigation Company.
And it's a fascinating one. It really is.
Yeah.
This wasn't just some business venture. This was a direct challenge to British dominance on the seas, especially in the waters around Tamil Nadu, which had its own unique set of challenges compared to other parts of India.
Right. So paint a picture for us.
Right.
This is the dawn of the 20th century. Steamships are transforming global trade, and the Indian Ocean is just buzzing with activity. But then there's this big player in the room, right? The British India Steam Navigation Company, BI for short, and they're basically calling all the shots.
Yeah, they were the top dogs. No question about it. They knew it, too. They weren't afraid to throw their weight around.
Yeah.
BI used their connections, their political influence, to just squeeze out any competition. And frankly, they treated Indian merchants pretty poorly in the process.
Okay, so we've got a classic David and Goliath story brewing here already. I'm kind of rooting for the underdog here, but I'm guessing BI's grip on the seas must have had some real consequences for Indian merchants. So what kind of impact are we talking about?
Well, think about it. Imagine being an Indian merchant completely at the mercy of BI to transport your goods. They could charge you whatever they wanted, delay your shipments just because they felt like it, and you had absolutely zero recourse. It was stifling, like trying to run a business with one hand tied behind your back, so naturally resentment starts to build, and the desire for another option, well, it starts to simmer.
This is where VOC plows in, right? VO Chidrambaram Pillai, a lawyer who basically drops everything to fight for economic justice. That's pretty impressive.
Oh, absolutely. It's an incredible story. He becomes the driving force behind the Swadeshi Steam Navigation Company, SSN Co. in 1906. And he's able to rally support from local merchants who are, desperate for a way out from under BI's thumb. But you got to figure starting a shipping company from scratch, it's no walk in the park, especially with a giant like BI right there watching your every move.
Right. Like, how do you even start? What were the biggest hurdles they had to overcome?
Well, first off, they needed ships, which were not cheap. Then there was the whole challenge of convincing investors to back them, going up against a powerhouse like BI. It was a huge risk. But when their first two steamships arrived, the Gallia and the Lawo, it really captured the public's imagination.
Speaking of the ships you mentioned, the Gallia was decked out with some pretty swanky amenities for the time saloons, smoking rooms, even electric lights and fans. It sounds like they were going for more than just basic transportation.
That's a good point. They weren't just trying to compete on price. The Gallia cost them a pretty penny, about 2,040,000 rupees. But it was all about challenging BI's image, appealing to a new class of Indian passengers who valued comfort and style.
So it was a statement then not just about the business itself, but about national pride, showing that Indians could provide a service that was just as good as, if not better, than their British counterparts.
Exactly. And the Lawo, which they got for 1,050,000 rupees, further drove that message home, even though it was a smaller vessel compared to the behemoths in BI's fleet. These ships were really tangible symbols of Swadeshi aspirations, a beacon of hope for economic independence.
And it sounds like for a while their gamble was paying off. They were undercutting BI's fares, attracting passengers, chipping away at their monopoly. But knowing the story, I'm guessing this smooth sailing couldn't last forever.
You're right about that. You see, BI had a lot to lose, and they weren't going to just sit back and watch their dominance slip away.
Yeah.
That's when the real challenges for SS & Co. start to pile up.
So BI decides they're not going down without a fight. What'd they do? I mean, we're talking about a company with endless resources and connections.
Yeah, it got ugly. Fast BI slashed their prices like crazy sometimes, even offering free trips just to undercut SS & Co. Can you imagine trying to compete with that?
No way.
And as if that wasn't enough, they started whispering in the ears of potential investors, spreading rumors about SS & Co.'s stability, trying to scare them off. Plus, they started offering these exclusive loan deals to merchants who agreed to only ship with BI.
Talk about playing dirty. It's like they were using every trick in the book.
Oh, they were determined to crush SS & Co. completely. But on top of all these economic storms, things took an even wilder turn when VOC found himself in the crosshairs of the British administration.
See, this is what I find so fascinating about this whole story. It's not just about business. It's about a fight for dignity, for a people's soul. Tell me more about this clash with the authorities. What happened?
Well, there was a massive strike at the coral mills in Tuticorin. And get this, the mill was managed by the Harvey brothers, the same Harvey brothers who were BI's agents in the city.
Wait a minute. So the same guys waging this economic war on SS & Co., that's awfully convenient timing, don't you think?
Yeah, it definitely makes you wonder. The strike escalated quickly, and VOC, being a vocal advocate for workers' rights, was accused of inciting the unrest and hit with sedition charges. It was a pretty convenient way for the British to silence a powerful voice that was challenging their authority and weaken SSNCO in the process.
Classic power move. Use the legal system to neutralize a threat.
Exactly. VOC was arrested and sentenced to transportation for life, although it was later reduced. But the damage was done. SSNCO lost its leader and things just started to unravel.
It's almost heartbreaking. Knowing how it ends, it feels inevitable. But even in defeat, it's still such a powerful story. A story of courage, resilience, the unwavering spirit of those who dare to challenge the giants.
Couldn't agree more. And even though SSNCO was eventually liquidated in 1911, its impact, it really resonated far beyond its operational years. It became a symbol of resistance, a testament to what collective action can achieve. And the story continued to inspire future generations fighting for economic justice.
It's amazing to think that something that seems a failure at the time could spark such lasting inspiration.
Oh, absolutely. And the story doesn't end there. Remember S.D. Krishna Iyengar, the guy who stepped up to lead SSNCO after VOC's arrest? Yeah. Well, he kept the dream alive. He became this tireless advocate for Indian shipping long after SSNCO was gone. Decades later, in 1924, he stood before the Indian Mercantile Marine Committee, sharing SSNCO's struggles and hammering home the need for a strong, independent Indian merchant marine.
So even in its absence, SSNCO played a part in shaping the future of Indian shipping. It's a reminder that a company's demise can still have a ripple effect for generations to come.
Without a doubt. Their fight, their story, it served as this powerful reminder that economic and political freedom are intertwined. And that challenging the status quo, even when it feels impossible, can plant the seeds for lasting change.
It really makes you think about the choices we're making today, the systems we support or challenge. What will our legacy be? What will people say about our fight for a more just world generations from now? It's something we all need to sit with, I think. The story of the Swadeshi Steam Navigation Company reminds us that every action, every act of courage can make a difference in the grand scheme of history. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive.
We sure did.
Into his life and his leadership.
And we hope you learned a lot.
And as always,
yeah,
we encourage you to continue the conversation.
Yes.
In the comments below.
Let us know what resonated with you.
What surprised you.
What you learned.
What you're still curious about.
Absolutely.
Make sure you subscribe to Book Reviews 1 on YouTube.
And don't forget to like and share this deep dive.
With your friends.
With your family.
With your colleagues.
With your pets.
Thanks for joining us.